Hey, what's up guys? My name is Sal, and this is another expedition log. Today we're going to visit one of the most adorable dead malls in the Rust Belt. This mall, for all intents and purposes, has no retail happening in its walls anymore, but it does retain two of its original tenants, and it has all of the original aesthetic language from when it was built back in the early 70s. This mall first captured my interest when I was researching dead malls out in the Ohio area, right near the border, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And I just saw this random picture of a mall with this staircase in the corner. And I thought it was strange to just have this darkly lit staircase. And so I jumped in and researched it, and I found this place. So come take a walk with me, and let's explore the Cascade Galleria, formerly known as the Towne Mall, in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. But first, a word from our sponsor, Fred the Baker.
Time to make the donut. The donut.
It isn't easy owning a Dunkin'
Time
Donuts.
to make the donut.
Because unlike most supermarkets, we make our donuts fresh day and night.
But the guys who make supermarket donuts are still in bed. Plain donuts aren't enough. 5 kinds.
Of course, when you make donuts this good, but there is one reward.
Honey dip.
They taste so great.
Morning, folks.
People buy an awful lot of them.
On October 23rd, 1968, the Archon Development Group, headed by its president John Blackson, broke ground on the $4 million facility that would 1 year later be dedicated to Towne Mall. Its first anchor was a full-line Sears. Now, a full-line Sears, it has every department that you can imagine, but it also has a cafeteria, and it had a few other amenities for employees. And it also had an out-parcel auto center, which did repairs and it sold parts, and it had gas pumps also. Between 1969 and 1970, 26 total businesses would open up in the 200,000 square foot space, including a second anchor, G.C. Murphy. To make the mall more easily accessible, a section of proposed downtown beltway was completed directly behind it, which would connect South Jefferson and West Washington streets. This boosted traffic, noted by Madeline Rice, who is the owner of the Towne Mall Beauty Salon. Now, she's the original owner, and this is actually still in operation today. During the 70s, the Towne Mall was not only a private club for local business owners, but the central hub for the Newcastle community. During Easter and Christmas, the fountain would be turned off to make a platform for children to visit Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. There were pet adoption events, Halloween parties, and the fountain was even used once as a stage for a concert featuring Marie Osmond. From fundraisers to fashion shows to concerts, Christmas and Easter and Halloween and everything, the Towne Mall was the place to be in the 1970s Newcastle, Pennsylvania. In 1972, Rich Guadagno was contemplating where to open his restaurant between the Southern Park Mall in Boardman's, Ohio, and the Towne Mall. The charm of the Towne Mall won him over, and he chose this location to open Mr. Pizza. The pizza place is still in its original location, which it replaced the Orange Julius, but now it's just called Towne Mall Pizza. Business was so lucrative at Mr. Pizza that Mr. Guadagno opened an arcade right next to the restaurant to retain some of the younger clientele and to give them something else to do. This also boosted traffic a lot. Sometimes back in the 70s when things were slow, Rich Guadagno and the other chefs at Mr. Pizza, they would flirt with women. And in an effort to be cute or playful, they would put on a show tossing the raw dough up in the air, making giant discs out of it, as pizza guys do. And as the women would walk by, the guys would kind of taunt them and pretend to throw the pizza dough at them. And the women would say like, "Oh, you would never do that, you won't do it." And everybody would laugh, and Rich replied, "We won't do it?" And then he actually lobbed raw dough, 12 to 16-inch discs of raw pizza dough into the mall concourse. Again, everyone laughed and screamed, and the women would run away. And, again, they were all playfully doing this. And in a recollection recently, Rich Guadagno was quoted saying, "You know what? It was just a party. Everything was just a party." 9 times out of 10, I am just looking around these back rooms, back corridors, just to see what it looks like, because nobody ever gets to see it. But as it stands for this mall, the bathroom is back here. This was the only one in the mall. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Bet.
Thank you. I'll see you.
How about those seats, though? Leave it to the 70s to have the devil as the mascot for Orange Julius. That's crazy, isn't it? Luckily, I did have time to sit down and try the food here. I got a couple of Sicilian slices, and I'll tell you, it was really good. So if you're in the Newcastle area and you can swing by here, I would definitely recommend getting some pizza at the Towne Mall Pizzeria. One thumb up. In my opinion, one of the focal points that showcases the aesthetic language of this mall is this beauty salon right here. It's exactly the same as it was the day it was built, and it's still owned by the same person, Madeline Rice. As the 80s came and passed, so too did the party. The party was dying down, and recession struck hard. Two notable closures in the area were Johnson Bronze and Mesta Machinery. Among other industrial closures during the 80s, these two hit Pittsburgh and its surrounding areas hardest, and contributed to the decline of the Towne Mall. Jack Hames, who was owner of the Clothes Post at the mall, was quoted saying, "Every little thing helps." But it was all the offices moving. Bell telephones switched to machines, and machines don't shop on their lunch hour. All those types of things would have an effect on it. I can't help but imagine that the Christmas decorations what we see back there once adorned the makeshift stage on top of the fountain. In a lot of these smaller, quirky little malls that are usually sandwiched between bigger regional malls, you'll find that they have these staircases that usually are closed off. And unfortunately, I was unable to appease my curiosity about where these went, but you do see some amazing wallpaper that just screams 1970. Not the moldy wallpaper over there, but on the left side, check that out. I'm pretty sure that's the original wallpaper from when the mall was built. I was able to speak with some locals who did confirm that section, those were the mall offices, and today they're just not being used, as evident by the entirely moldy carpet and walls in there and ceiling. All these doors were locked. In the 80s, stores began moving out of the mall more often. The first major loss was the Giant Eagle food store. Then on June 26, 1987, Martin Scharfman secured a loan for $4.25 million from the Union National Bank of Pittsburgh, and he paid the original mall owner, John Blackson, $500,000 and took ownership of the mall. 3 years later, on June 6, 1990, Scharfman defaulted on the loan, and the Union National Bank of Pittsburgh acquired the mall at sheriff's auction for $1,093.53, and they canceled the remaining debt on Scharfman's loan. Most of the mall is as it was when it was first built. But directly to our right, you see a bunch of drywall. This section used to be Sears. And now it's on our left. All that drywall is new, and that was added to create offices. Directly across from this, in the old G.C. Murphy's wing, there's some more drywall. So while most of the aesthetics are the same, they did add some drywall up to give them all more practical use since nobody was renting it out. The same year, the mall property was assessed at $1,124,670. The bank then sold the mall to PES Incorporated of Cleveland on July 23, 1996. 4 years later, the mall was put up for auction again and purchased by Newcastle-based developers Thomas George and Robert Bruce for $1.9 million, which equates to $81 per square foot. They changed the name at this point to the Cascade Galleria. G.C. Murphy's left in 1994 and Sears left in 1995. By 1997, about 4 stores were left. Now, in 2018, only the beauty salon, Towne Mall Pizza, and the original untouched aesthetic language of 1968 remain intact. I can't see the future, but I do think that this mall will be here for a while. I don't see it going anywhere, and I certainly hope that it does stay, because all of you should visit it. This place is super cool, and it's got this really awesome retro vibe. And I want to thank everybody for watching this video. I want to celebrate passing 500 subscribers. We are over 500 now, around 520, which is amazing. And all the support you guys are giving me and all the incredible discussions that are being brought up in the comments, it really excites me and it inspires me to keep doing these videos. And there's so many more to come. So stay tuned and subscribe if you liked it, and if you didn't, let me know why so I can keep working on it, because I want to make all this content much better for you guys. Take care, everybody.